What does retirement at the age of 47 look like? That's what I'm going to chat a little bit about here in this video. My name's John, welcome to my channel if you're new here. And for all the followers that I've had since I started this channel back in January, thank you so much if you've been following along this journey. So to briefly explain, I'm here in Perdana Botanical Gardens. It's a beautiful morning here in Malaysia. We're on the edge of Kuala Lumpur city and I'm walking around this absolutely stunning park. In January of this year, I started this channel. I was feeling pretty lost. Last year, I lost my father. My dad was my caregiver. He'd raised me from the age of about 8 or 9 years old after my mother left. And last year when he passed, it hit me incredibly hard. And I took a month off of work in order to deal with his passing, his funeral, his estate. And then when I returned back to work, I then found out I was going to be made redundant. And I really was heading to the end of last year feeling like things were a bit hopeless and felt pretty lost. I knew in my head that I didn't want to go back searching for another job. I'd spent 30 years working in sales. And I had spent the last 4 years of that time working for a company in Germany, travelling between the UK and Munich relentlessly every couple of weeks on a flight, late hours, late travel back to the UK, long drives home, and I thought, can I do this again? Do I want to do this again? And I think my mind was made up at that point. And so in January, I grabbed this camera, I turned it on, and I just talked about my experiences. Whew. Good morning. My name is John. Welcome to my channel. And 10 months later, I've left my house. My wife's gone on a year's sabbatical and is also now facing redundancy from her job in the UK. My outlook on what life in the UK looked like seemed pretty bleak. Taxed into oblivion, unable to get healthcare, and just feeling like the current and past and probably future governments weren't going to take the country in the direction that I thought would be beneficial to us. And so I spent 10 months talking here about selling all of our possessions, about getting our savings together, about investments that I had. And in those 10 months, I've cried, I've felt grief, I've felt depression, but I've also felt like there was a goal at the end of all of that to just try and see a way out. 10 months later, 11 months later technically, here I am walking around this beautiful park. I've got a few quid in the bank from everything that we've sold. I've made some wise investments. I've bought stocks, I've bought some crypto, I've put money in ISAs, and I earn enough to survive because life here is incredibly cheap compared to back home. How much do we spend to live here in a month? Well, 2 months we've been here so far, and we've spent roughly about £1,800 a month, and that was splashing the cash. This month, probably cheaper. And can we make it cheaper still? Absolutely, it's really not that hard. I share videos about what the accommodation costs. I share videos about how much I earn from this YouTube channel. I've talked on live Q&As about where I've put my money. I get asked questions like, what's your net worth? And as much as I want to share that publicly, it also carries risks attached to it, right? So I try and give as much information as I possibly can, but there's some questions I just don't feel comfortable enough to answer. However, if you want to talk to me directly and you're thinking about this way of life, you can reach out to me. My email address is down below. I have a small client base of people that are looking to do exactly the same. People will say in the comments, it's easy for you, it's just you and your wife. I look at people who I've met out here that are just on their own and I go, God, it's easy for you, you're just on your own. My wife and I have to agree on everything that we do. We have to make sure that our goals are aligned. She has her challenges right now with facing redundancy of a job back home, what that means for her. But I'm working with a family right now who've got 2 kids. So people say to me, oh, well, I've got kids, it's easy for you. They have a 5 and a 9-year-old. They've sold their house and they're heading out of the UK to also move to Asia for a different way of life. So if they can make it work, you could probably make it work. Now this won't be for everybody. How do I live? Nomad style. I've posted in the last couple of videos about selling all of our possessions, and I've explained why. I've told HMRC what I sold, the reasons behind it, to keep myself safe, to stay ahead of any potential questioning from a department that won't hesitate to freeze your bank accounts. We live here on a tourist visa. Tourist visa in Malaysia means 90 days. At the end of 90 days, we'll leave. Where will we go next? Thailand. And beyond that, Bali, Vietnam, and we will circle around. We've effectively exited the UK and confirmed that we're no longer tax residents there. I don't pay tax on my YouTube earnings because I'm no longer part of the tax system in the UK. I'm not currently paying tax here because I'm not a resident. I'm not here in the country long enough to qualify to pay tax. When that time comes, when we feel like we want to settle down, we'll look at what that means for us, whether that's a longer nomad style visa, a working visa, a retirement visa. Those options are open to us. I'm 47, my wife is 48. Retirement visas for many of these territories kick in from 50. So what are you going to do until then? Well, I'm going to enjoy slow travel. So here's the question, where'd you get all your money from? That's always the question, right, that I get asked. In 2020, I was working for British Gas. I took voluntary redundancy. I'd been there for 5 years. And just like my last job, I kind of had enough. I'd put a lot of effort in. I was a sales director and I felt like my time was probably just about up there. Sales jobs, you know, 3 to 5 years in companies, you're burned out and it's time to move on. It's kind of the life cycle of a salesperson in these roles. High salary, high pressure, lots of challenges on you, on your body, physically and mentally. So I took voluntary redundancy. I walked away with a little bit of cash. People will ask, how much? I think I walked away with somewhere around £38,000 after tax and everything else, right? So not 100,000, not 150,000, but 38 grand redundancy from that job. You know what I did with it? I invested it. I put money into an ISA. I put money into stocks that I believed in, that I researched. And so far they're performing well. Beyond that, I've sold our life possessions, also £38,000. I've invested that money. I earn some interest from those in an ISA. Now, because I've left the country, I can't add more money into an ISA, but I can still earn from the money that's in the ISA now. That is allowed. I can have money in a cash savings account and I can earn interest. I have to pay tax on that in the UK, so I'll do that via self-assessment. Right, I'm going to spin round and walk back round this way in the park because I've reached the exit there while I finish off this conversation. I was then made redundant from my last job, and again I've invested that money. I can't disclose that fee to you because terms and conditions and contracts, right? But I have invested that money also, again, stocks and shares, some crypto. That money's safely aside. And beyond that, I started this YouTube channel. Started it with zero. And now here, 11 months later, I've just surpassed 17,000 followers. And I just want to say thank you to every single person that's clicked subscribe and walked along this path. Some of you from video 1 and some of you from just that last post. So thank you. I earn money here. Typically, it's anywhere from around £300 a month to as high as £1,000 a month. I don't have any sponsorships, I don't have any partnerships. I receive AdSense, which is from you watching the video and then watching the adverts in between. Beyond that, that is it. That's my cash inflow. That is my cash inflow. And typically I'm aiming for around £1,500 a month. £2,000 a month is living the high life. That covers my rent, my food, my travel insurance, which is a Nomad insurance, and it covers everything else that we need, and we live life cheaply. I sold all of my possessions and I was asked why didn't I take them with me? Because I don't care about them anymore. I emptied my dad's house out, his entire life, and all that was left behind was stuff after he was gone. Just stuff. And it gave me a whole new perspective on life. I started to really think, what is all my stuff worth? And I just saw money in it. So I sold it. That's why I didn't bring it with me. I'm not interested in transporting stuff that I've just got to carry around. There's a van behind me having a little walk with me in the park. And just over my shoulder here are deers, which I'll show you in the video in a second, a whole farm of beautiful red deers. So I sold all that stuff, and like I said, I invested that money. I put it aside so that I earn a little bit every month. So can you come and do this life? It's really up to you. If you want to watch this channel, go back to the start. See what it took to get here. It wasn't easy. It was not easy. I've had comments from people calling me everything under the sun. I've been called a traitor. I've been told that I've ran away from life. I've been told that this was all a lie when I started this channel and that I still had a job. But beyond all of that, I've had some incredible support from people that have just motivated me to keep going along this path. And yep, this channel has also kept me honest at times. Just the sheer goal of getting out. Now, I've been here for 2 months. Can I honestly tell you that everything's been perfect? No. I've fallen ill. I've ended up in hospital. I've ended up contracting sepsis from a surgery. It's cost me £12,500. I'm now in a dispute with the insurance company over it. But it's just challenges, right? Challenges that come your way. Right, that's enough of my ranting. Does that sound like a rant or a motivational talk? I don't know, you can tell me down in the comments. I'm blown away by the support on this channel. I see through the few negative comments that come along, and I see people that just care, whether they're just watching as spectators to see what goes on, or for those that are interested. 2 weeks ago, I started a newsletter just to share a little bit more context around some of these video topics. If you're interested, you can sign up down below. Every month, to say thanks, I pick a viewer that's been engaged. Not a prize, not a competition, just somebody that's in the comments, regularly engaging, a newsletter subscriber, and I buy you your week's shopping. I've done that twice so far, just to say thanks from me to you, because I appreciate all of this. My life has changed beyond what I could have imagined. And now I'm just here having lazy days with my wife, walking around a beautiful botanical park and enjoying the countryside, the wildlife, city living before we move on to our next destination. That's it, folks. If you're interested in any more of this and you want to actually talk to me one-on-one, you can reach out in the emails below and I'll happily tell you what's going on. And beyond that, I'll have another live Q&A this week, so if you just want to come and ask questions in the Q&A, fire away. I think what I've shown in all of these videos is that I'll share whatever I can, whatever I'm comfortable enough to share. 200 plus videos are walking you through that journey. That's it. Have an awesome day and thanks for watching this. Have a great day, folks. Giving the turtle a wave, boy.
Oh, it's like that. Hi.
Oh, there's a big one.